All right, tonight is the night. We need to release a new version of our standard OpenAI.NET libraries. How are you guys doing
Good.
on a Friday night? Elbic, do you mind sending the invitation to Kay on Teams in the background? Thank you. Okay, let's get this started. I know there has been a lot of research, Brian, Rami, a lot of people have been kind of putting some time and effort into figuring out this whole issue that we talked about yesterday, which is, generating random integers, statelessly without having to pass in a value or anything. And I saw some of the solutions that you put out there, Brian. I'm just gonna show it to people real quick, just to so people know what we're talking about. So this is our playground from yesterday, right? And what Brian is suggesting, let's zoom in a little bit here, is to come up with a way where it relies on text. It's a very simplified function. I love that it's simple. Simple meaning it's easy to remember. This is what he did. He basically said stopwatch, get timestamp, and then time span ticks per minute. So you're dividing,
No, it's not a division, it's a modulus.
oh, modulus, right. So you're,
Getting the remainder of ticks after the minute.
okay, let's unpack this a little bit. So if I say stopwatch dot get timestamp, because this is a smart solution, but not in a, this is the current timestamp of now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so that's now.
That's
So
in
if,
with high resolution too. So Rami pointed out when he was using just date time offset on his system,
yeah,
it was causing some errors. So, but when we
yeah,
switched it to the stopwatch, because we got higher resolution, it stopped it on Rami's machine.
because it's basically different architecture. His
Mhm.
processor is not necessarily like yours. So now my question is like, why don't we just use the timestamp? Because it does it not, if I say for forever, let's limit it so it doesn't kill us like yesterday. So
The,
0,
the problem is it's a long.
oh, it's a long, right? So an integer can't contain that value, right? So what if you mapped it to int? Like what if you went and said,
I
here's
liked Rami's solution here. He trimmed off the top 2 bytes.
yeah, if we do this, would it always be negative? Look, it's changing. That's good. Now if we put it, can it actually beat the computer time? Like if I go and say for int I equals 0 and I is less than 10 and I is incremental, and I go and paste that guy in here, need to console that one out. Right line. Here you go. Yeah, why don't we just do that? It's much simpler. Hey, Gregory and Catalan, the beast that delivered, that's trying to push for the restful sense, and Sharaf. Good morning. It became a habit that I don't sleep and stay awake to watch your sessions, only to fall asleep near the end. All right, as long as you catch a little bit of it, that's fine too. I have this buddy of mine. He lives in Italy, and he says this is my lunch break. My lunch break is sit down and I think Elbic, you do the same thing, or used to do the same thing. Is it you? Maybe someone else. Yeah, something like that. So engineers, in some different places, they're dealing with very chaotic systems, and it seems like sessions like these is the only kind of breath of fresh air to kind of look at and be like, wait, there's still engineers out there that actually believe in something, and they want to build something, that makes sense. So listen, this looks okay to me. I mean, if we do, because you have to know, like, again, just so people understand the rules that we play with when we kind of go and say something is standardized, right? I talked about this last time, but I really want to press on this. Three things, right? It has to work, right? It has to be right, and it has to be pretty. Now, what's an example of this? What's an example of this? If I go here and say a console write line one like this. Watch this. This is an example of something that works but is not right. One, two, three, like that. right? That works, but it's not right. Because every time I have an array and I want to increase, I need to go write more code. That works, but it's not right, right? So this is works, not right. Now, something that is right, but not pretty, is when you go and say, oh, let me just do this really lame iteration, equals 0 and I is less than whatever count, and then I plus plus, and then you go and say, oh, I want to kind of put the console right line in here and put the I in here. This means that it's right. It's perfectly working fine, and it's right, but it's not pretty. It's not pretty. We take that further and we basically go and say pretty, meaning that I go like this and say array, and then for each something like this, and then I put in my array and then put in, console dot write line. That's pretty. You see the difference? A lot of people don't give a shit. They'd be like, hey, if it works, don't fix it. You hear people say that, right? A lot of people will tell you, hey, if it works, don't fix it. That's chaos language. That's chaos ideology, right? In the workplace. The people that say that are people that obviously, don't care about what they produce. They don't care about the engineers that are going to maintain these systems. They just don't care, right? It's like have you ever been to a restaurant and you could see a huge difference between a waitress that or a waiter that is putting the food, giving you a smile, saying, "How can I do for you?" versus someone that's literally tossing the dish in your face, right? Big difference, right? Um, if our world was based on things that just work but are not pretty, flowers didn't have to be that pretty. They could function without being that beautiful, right? There's something more to it. There's something more to life than just things that work, right? And this is a little problem that a lot of engineers will have. It'll be like, it works. I don't know what you mean by pretty. No, no, you have to be creative. You have to be pretty. That's what gave, someone like Steve Jobs and Wozniak the advantage in the personal computer world because it really felt like their software is like an extension of the human being, right? So anyway, so I think we saw a lot of solutions in here. I think what Brian and Rami have been researching gets us very close. And both of you, I need to give you your Amazon gift cards. But I think if we just do it this way, and let's test it together, let's just see if this is what it is. The only thing that I hate about this solution is that it's not truly random because you're picking current timestamp that is not in the past. It's onwards. It's linear. It's going one directional. So it's still like there's still something there, but let's just test it out and see what happens. I'm gonna throw that in there, right? I'm gonna throw that in there, and then I'd hope for the people that are watching us, if you know of any slight, because this is supposed to be pretty right and it works. These three things. So let's see here. Sharaf says 90% of the people I work with didn't even make it work. All right. Okay, I'll get out of my serious mode for a second there. Okay, that's nice. All right. Let's run this a couple of times just to see. And if that's the case, I'm not gonna push it. Brian, feel free to push a code rub and actually make it a minor fix because this is what we have today is a flaky test. Even though the system is telling us it's not flaky, we know that it's flaky. We know that it's gonna barf out at some point in time. Okay, so that's one for Parker. I will go and test this in the logic retrieve, and I'm gonna run this one test one time. Okay, and then I'm gonna run this until fails, but not really. I'm just gonna run it like 50 times or something and just see what happens there. So while this is running, like I said to you, I'm gonna try to make these sessions like really very connected to the world, right? What's happening in the AI world, what's going on. One of the most prominent things that I just saw recently is what Italy did. Italy and ChatGPT. Have anyone heard about that? Italy decided that, ChatGPT is going to be temporarily banned because of an investigation in the data collection. So they're not really sure. So the folks that try to enter the website, in Italy, they won't be able to. My question is, I know that I probably Catalan, are you an Italian guy? If you're an Italian, shut down your VPN and run the API, not the website, and see if that works. So I don't know if they shut down just the website or they shut down the entire thing. Can you still call an API without a VPN? Does that work? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what happens there. Anyway, the poor guy probably got him in trouble because if if I'm calling him out like this and oh, he lives in Romania. Okay, got it. Makes sense. Thanks. So, okay, so I'm running this about 56, 57 times. It seems to be fine. At some point in time, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for a walk in the morning, but I'm gonna set this up to actually have it truly run 1,000 times. And, by the time I come back, we'll see. It takes about, 2 or 3 minutes for 50 iterations, right? Or a minute per 50 iterations, give or take, 2 minutes, 20 minutes. 20 minutes total. It will run 1,000 iterations. Okay, so Parker, I'm not changing this. I'm reverting. Just take that solution. It's simple. It's easy. It works. I appreciate the hard work that people put into it. Also, send me your email for the Amazon thing. Okay, today we're gonna do clients. Elbic, you haven't done any clients yet, yeah? I haven't touched
Let me
clients.
do that. Yeah, let me do that.
Gotta do clients.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
gotta
was
do something.
expecting.
Also,
Yes.
because it was Parker, the last one that did the last piece to make the
Mhm.
test pass for service exception. So it's your turn, my friend. Go for it.
So,
He's not happy about that, but it's okay. That's life.
I wrote the last client in here.
I need to register this project on Get file, so I just see who's contributing to what, and then I'll be able to go and say, okay, wait a second, Parker didn't actually touch, brokers. Give Parker a broker, or he didn't touch a client, or he didn't touch acceptance. This is how I ensure that everyone on the team gets a fair shot and a fair opportunity at working on a different set of tasks, which kind of systematically distributing the experience there. What did Rami say? Int stopwatch get time. Yeah, that's what we said. Rami, did you just join the party or were you here from the beginning? What happened? Tamura says, sorry, but can someone explain what the solution ended up being? Yeah. Okay, while Elbic is doing this, guys, we just talked about this. You guys are late. You're late to the party. This is what we ended up saying. Console, if you do int stopwatch get timestamp, that gives you very, very good solution. Well, that's what about. Oh, so Rami was answering the question. I see. How is that non-colliding? I don't know. Prove it. Got it. Got it. I don't know. If you can prove that it's colliding, I'd love to see. It seems to be functioning pretty well. I'd love to see this how this would be colliding. Okay. Thank you, Rami. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. All right. Back to Elbic. So Elbic, you gotta write a client, huh?
yeah.
Look at this name. I-A-I-O. All right.
Shall we call it retrieve? Right? Retrieve. We are saying
Yeah.
send, retrieve. Yeah.
Uh,
I.e.
what did we say in the completions? Did we say post?
Yeah, it was prompt, but it's specific to completion.
Go to the interface. Yeah, this prompt. What did we do in the chat completion?
We said send.
Say list. List all AI models. Async.
Okay.
Does that work as a terminology, Brian? List as a verb?
I kind of liked retrieve, but anyhow.
Let's do it retrieve then.
Yeah.
Tamora says, I mean GUID is designed to be random. There is no feasible scenario in which you'd end up with two identical ones. But I don't think I know the initial problem you were trying to solve, so I'll shut up. Just go to the session, brother. Let's just go to the session. No, don't shut up. We want you to talk to us, but go to the session. We were basically trying, it's more advanced than we're trying to make it to be. We are implementing a concept called, Euclid's law of axioms, which is a mathematical concept in test-driven development. And based on that, we want to generate truly random ints that represent time so we can produce unique date time offsets from a broker that we're mocking. And if we don't have truly unique values, the mock fails because you're mocking the same value twice. So your expectation fails. All right. So, I mean, someone yesterday reached out to me, a principal engineer. They reached out to me yesterday and they were like, hey, I saw your session yesterday. Why don't you just increment 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? And I said to them, because you can fool that system. You can easily go and fool the test, right? And you say, okay, you're gonna pass that much. I'm just gonna increment the values, right? So it wasn't quite right. I promise you, Tamura, it's worth going back and watching that session. You will learn something interesting, or at least you'll know about something interesting that we're doing, with these tests. Okay, dude, we're done.
Yeah,
All good?
just give me a couple of minutes. So, do you think this is pretty?
No, that's horrible. Never
Or,
do that.
or
Why don't
it's
you just do return? Why don't you just return?
because this is I enumerable and we are
Make it
just
IEnumerable. Make it IEnumerable then. I'm okay with that. Why you're tripping? What happened to you? Also, why are you in heaven? Why is it so white behind you? What happened there?
yeah, I'm
You know,
in different.
you know what I was watching, Elvic? I just randomly something popped up on my YouTube about, how people prep food, for breakfast in Uzbekistan. It's like a big palace. And oh my God, the amount of I love the dedication to quality. Like Brian, the dishes look like ducks, that they're really nicely designed. Oh my lordy Lord. Like you're eating duck from a dish that looks like a duck, you know? It's wild. Look, say what you want. I just love the idea of someone putting in extra thought into what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, here are some places here in the US, they'll just throw you a paper dish and smash a duck, a duck thigh on it and be like, eat. My worst thing that happens here is when I'm eating and then the waiter or waitress come in and be like, "Are we still working?" I'm like, "Working on what? Let me enjoy my meal. Just go away. Let me finish." Oh my God. But I digress. I just think it's funny. Okay. So Brian, Elbic does this. You do the acceptance. I do the integration. We all go home. That's it, right?
AI.
I
AI.
mean, I'll do the integration and release. I like to do the easy things, Brian. You get the acceptance one. You have to set up the wire mock server. You have to do all that good stuff. One thing I want to really press on is the I don't know how some repositories, when they use code from another repository, it references it says used by, and it shows you all the other repositories that are
Yeah.
using your code. I don't know how that works exactly, but okay, from LinkedIn, uh, Priyan Rastuji says, "Hi all, what's the topic name? Developing clients for listing all AI models using um, OpenAI RESTful API operations, RESTful endpoints." What up, Kay?
Hello,
How are you doing?
good.
Well, I guess the rotation now is going to change. So Elbic is doing the client, Brian is doing acceptance, Kylo do the integration tests, and then I will do the release. I do the hardest things, usually, the hardest things ever. Increase one number in the build and publish. What else you want? All right. Sergio, it's good to hear from you. Good morning from Spain. Finally Saturday. Have you guys solved the auto completion problem? No, we have not. But then again, Sergio, the auto completion problem also might not be realistic problem because we want the person to retrieve the models from an API and then use these models, into the system. So since they have to make a couple of calls to make that happen, um, we should probably not try to autocomplete it. Unless you came up with a solution, then I'd love to know what you came up with, because there's 50,000 other scenarios where autocomplete on string value is very, very legitimate. It's almost like we need a new type, a new data type that supports that. Okay.
So I need dependency validation as well.
So hold on. Both dependency validation and validation exceptions, they map to validation.
Elbic,
And
what branch are you on?
he's on main.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a gangster. You don't mess with that guy. He likes to play on the wild side, you know?
so clients. Um, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
In the nicest of ways. I would never do this. I'll be like, what happened to you? But Parker, that's where experience is. Parker will be like, hey, what branch are you on? You know, it's kind of a rhetorical question just to kind of let you.
Just to make him look.
So, so I don't need the dependency exception here. Should I change it to validation? Is that it?
So whatever the service, the foundation service emits, it
Uh-huh.
emits 3 and 1 subcategory, right?
Yeah.
So validation and dependency validation, they map to the client validation exception.
Okay. So
And dependency and service, they map to
okay.
dependency and service, right? Just look at the other client. Look at the chat
Yeah.
completion client.
Yeah.
Elbic,
So we don't have that validation exceptions on this server. That's why I was tripping.
And also you need to put it in a what I think Brian was just about to tell you that. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just about to say, did you notice how many fetches you got there at the bottom?
How many fetches?
He didn't update his main.
So
Is he
Is that
building
right?
on?
No, I'm right. Sorry, I'm just reading the screen wrong. Forgive me.
Okay, so you are going for something else though. So what I'm going for, hey dude, you need an exceptions folder.
okay. Yeah.
He's running low on fuel. We can have fun with him. Can I release in an hour? Can that happen? Let's see. Let's see. I'll sit here and watch you. I'm having fun. Let's do it. Manami Tamora says, I wonder what ChatGPT itself would say about the problems you run into. Oh, believe me, people, some people here, Manami, some people here went and asked it. This is, if you really want to see whether engineers are going to lose their jobs to AI or not, try to solve some of the problems that we run into in here. This is real life production, enterprise level development. It just gets stuck. Like try to ask it, for instance, hey, develop something that will give me a random number and give it some. Brooke tried that like 5 times and it just doesn't know.
Yeah.
It did not understand the concept of stateless either.
Yep, it couldn't kind of figure out what we're trying to say. Like so engineers like I think Sam Altman in one of his interview with Fredman, he basically said to him, if you're worried as a software engineer that you're gonna lose your job to an AI, then maybe you're not a very good engineer. Maybe you're just a shitty engineer because if all that you're doing all day is just moving data around and you're not using the muscle that matter the most, then yeah, ChatGPT is gonna kick your butt. It's gonna kick you out. You're just redundant, right? But yeah, if you want to see what ChatGPT can do, throw some of these problems that we're trying to solve here at it. Try to ask it. Tell it, hey, I want an autocomplete capability for a model that gives me string values. He wouldn't even understand what you're talking about.
Can I make a suggestion here, Elbic? You're calling the model AI model dependency exception, and that's fine. But I think you should use a lowercase I. It just looks wrong. It looks like an owl.
Here or
No.
everywhere.
But no, back
Oh,
in your
variable names, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just this was autocomplete, and I don't know. It's similar to
I'm only being pedantic.
That's a good point, actually. Thanks, Brian. Please be pedantic, please. That's how yeah. What why do we have dependency validation?
Because I saw dependency validation in our service.
Is that what so you're catching? Okay, where's your client? What does your client handle? So your client is supposed to throw one of three exceptions, right? One of three, right? So why are you throwing dependency validations?
Oh,
To be valid.
validation should be right. Okay. Except from just like this, right?
And I think dependency validation, should it go before dependency? Put it before dependency.
Okay.
Although that chronologically speaking, it can be in either position because you could fail to connect to the API, and that's a dependency exception. So you will never get, but you also could get a bad request, right? By the way, uh, the gentleman from Iceland, he did send me how to say his name. I need to kind of repeat it to remember it. But he brought up a very interesting point. You guys might find this interesting. He basically said, let me just say his name. Goodeminder. Goodeminder, that's his name, I think. And what he said, hey, you skipped handling bad request exception, but when you were testing with Postman and you put a body in the GET request, you got a bad request response. I said, nice. That's great. I don't know if RESTful Sense would even let you do that. Like RESTful Sense won't even let you pass a content, but we can't rely on that because RESTful Sense could be upgraded tomorrow for whatever reason. So we should probably go back and create bad request, handle bad request. It'll be a minor fix or something like that. Let's see here. Um, um, Tamora says the slowest thing has always been communication with teammates and semantics, filling in the blanks, dotting the I's, and crossing the T's. I'm convinced this problem will get solved soon. We'll see. As an example, look at this stream. Most of the time we're trying to figure out small stuff like which directory should this be in, get stuff, whatever. Once that stuff gets standardized and automated, we can actually start thinking about important matters. What do you think? Should we automate that stuff, Elbic? There is so tomorrow there is a principle in the standard that says no toasters. And that principle basically says we don't rely on linters, code generation, stuff like that to write the code for us, right? They can be educational, but they can't do the actual work that we do. Like there was attempts, if you look up Standardly, it's basically a project that was dedicated, or still dedicated. You can find it actually on Microsoft Extensions Marketplace. And the project was doing pretty much this, but every case is unique, right? What happens usually in the tech industry is that you have a bunch of people that come in, they learn few things that are very valuable, and then they say, oh, let's go automate it to make things simpler. And then the next generation comes in and they have no idea what's going on. They don't know how to modify it. They don't know how to work with it because they automated things only as far as their experience can go. I try to keep people on the ground. Like a lot of these things, we could generate it. We can actually teach ChatGPT to generate that code. But there will always be these intangible things. And these streams are meant to kind of engage the community in a discussion. I could just sit in the back and on a weekend and write the whole library by myself. But where's the fun in that? There's no fun in that.
Yeah.
Gregory
Is that
says, yeah, I think so. Gregory says we name them Whirlpool templates. Should we name them Whirlpool templates? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All right, dude. Is it good?
Have a look. Just a final look. We have the thing here, and I need to register it after committing. So
Okay.
I'm handling dependency validation exception, which comes from the dependency validation, and then dependency exception, and then service exception.
Cool. Let's go.
And
Did you
so
do the client in the OpenAI client?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Should it be in the same PR?
Yeah.
All right. Or I mean commit.
In the same commit, yes.
Okay.
It's like you're registering the service. You could make a commit client and make another commit called configs, and you register, the
Yeah.
service. Just
Yeah,
be
that's what I
aware that you introduce new dependencies. I don't know. I don't know if our Icelandic friend already registered the datetime broker, but it's something to look into.
All right. So I open AIs here.
Sharaf says, I saw Nick Chapsas
I completion
stream asking Google
Bard.
Bard to make C# minimal API. It wrote a class inherits a class called minimal API with some voodoo implementation. AI might help us, but not replace engineers. It can replace the redundant work, but if you actually are creative about what you're doing, I highly doubt that it will be able to do everything you're doing. The one good thing about ChatGPT, OpenAI is that it kind of started to tell people be creative. Don't be a toaster. Don't just repeat things. Think about significant and meaningful ways you can develop systems, which is pretty much what the standard community have been doing from the beginning. I mean, for God's sake, look we handle our exceptions. We handle our exceptions in a very, very interesting way. There is meaning to it. There is art into it. Why is this guy tripping? Is it because it's
Yeah.
not public?
No, it's because we have AI models as a
As a namespace?
and we have it here as a property. So should I use allies here?
That's a great question.
Maybe I should say clients.
Call it AI client. No, this is not gonna solve your problem. Go back. Go
Oh.
back. So AI models client.
We need
Chat
to use plural.
completion.
Yeah, we need to use plural, but don't we?
Yeah, we have to use plural because it's like a controller. When you say students controller, teachers controller, type in all AI models for now.
As a property name, right?
Yeah, LL all AI models, and then I need to think about it. Mm. Now what?
Okay. Inconsistent accessibility. Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Should it be public then?
No, this one shouldn't be. The interface should.
Oh, okay.
We don't want them to access the client actually. That raises the question, what is creativity? I don't know, to come up with something that nobody thought about before. I use it to build workflows and automations. It's very good at that. Cool. Hmm.
Let me initialize it from
I
here.
think Christo is the one that proposed private sets. I think that's a good idea. What happened to Parker? Got mad? Doesn't like the naming convention? Is that what it is?
All right.
Ah, Rami just said I tested the get timestamp int and it didn't do the trick. Okay, thanks, Rami. So the problem still stands then. All right. The problem still stands. Yeah,
So I
Brian
have
had.
registered here.
Yeah, add transient.
And get required service here.
Yep. Did you register all the services? You did the daytime broker. Go back. Did you register the foundation service?
I guess not here. No.
Keep it in the same order. Like you see how we did brokers, services, the same thing.
Yeah, it should be
There you
from
go.
here.
Yep. Just do Control D, dude. Why do you have to type everything by hand? Get tired. I know you're young and strong and all that. You're just trying to cut the.
Control D doesn't work for me.
No,
I
you have.
tried.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
How about
Control
Control C,
C.
Control V? There you
Yeah,
go.
that's what I did.
You just have to make drama, huh? That's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
IAI model service.
Service. Now, what's wrong?
I don't know, tomorrow inspiration, the things that you wake up in the morning and hit you in the head and, makes you change the world. I don't know.
So AI model service, and then what it depends on.
It depends on your
Return broker.
OpenAI, but yeah, I think you're good.
Return broker. Okay.
Yeah, I think that dude from Iceland actually did register. He took care of all of it. Yep.
Yes.
Configs is better than configurations, right, Elbic? I don't want to change the team standard. We've been saying configs for a long time, right?
The configuration is too long.
So say this: initialize client and register services. Okay, so that's another piece. Do a hash. Make sure you put the. Actually, you won't be able to because you have multiple commits now. So when you create the pull request, you'll be able to. Yeah, let's do that. How are you doing, Kay?
Good.
Good. It's Friday.
Yeah.
TGIF, right?
Mhm. I guess. Yeah.
All right. Your PR is open, Elvic?
I'm opening the PR.
Good.
And closes. Oops.
I would argue these are important things to think about, or maybe not. Is there any point trying to desperately separate us from other things in the world, etc.? I mean, we are unique in a very specific way. Sharaf says, I was just like open Photoshop and change image width and then center it. That did the trick. No code was written there. Uh-huh. All right. So if you look for clients, you should have one that says
Get alt clients. I have attached that to the. But do I have another issue?
no, that's it. No, there's no
Okay.
two issues. It's just a client. All right, let me take a look at that real quick. Let me merge it in. Let's go there. Go here. All right, since Parker has an outage, let's go up in here. Let's take the pull request. Run the test real quick on your side, Elvic. Just confirm with me there,
All right.
because it's much faster than the pipeline.
Yeah. حتى بروغوس يبي
Okay. All right.
yeah, it's good on my side.
Good. I'll take the acceptance test then here. I don't know what Ricardo, what the edit external, you must have opened it just right now. External edit choice. Oh, he's doing the edit stuff. Nice. I don't know if there is. I think the data is included by default in the in the broker development. All right, Kailu, do you want to do the integration test for this one? We'll wait for Parker. We're not gonna let him run away from acceptance tests. He's gonna do the big ones.
So you do the acceptance test first, then the
No, no,
integration, or the other way around.
they're not dependent on each other. Like integration
Okay.
and acceptance are completely two different pieces.
Okay.
Some people might argue that integration includes acceptance, but that's not true because acceptance is free. Integration is expensive.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Hey, Parker.
Hey, sorry about that, guys.
Still alive in there? Kangaroos broke your electricity box?
I think the cat was upset with me.
The cat was upset. You guys didn't see this, but the stream had a, Brian had a cat. He had to wake up the cat so he can do the stream, and cat started attacking Brian. It was wild. It was dramatic. It was dramatic. Okay, Brian, the Kailu is gonna do the integration. We said you love acceptances so much, you're gonna hold it up for you. I'm not gonna
No.
take it away from you yet. All right, okay, let's go.
I thought I might have made it back in time. Damn it. It's all right.
Okay. So there's that. Mm,
Okay. I haven't done integration test
I know.
before, so I'm just gonna
Yep.
look at the other
You are
tests a
you are
lot.
more than welcome to do that, my friend. That's totally fine. There's also a trick there because most of these are skipped. So I need to kind of walk you through setting up your environment variables, so you are able to run this because this one is expensive. This one actually charge you, like cost you money every time you go do that. So we're gonna need to run it, skip it, and then, something for the community to think about when we start spinning up. I know Rami was looking into building something in A.NET that allows us to, I don't know if it was allowing us to publish NuGet package or something like that. There was also another guy that was doing the dependabot thing, and I said to him, well, you have to match the C# code to the YAML that you're generating because dependabot will change your YAML code, but it doesn't change the C# code. So every time I run that, C# code will override whatever was written in there. So that's kind of important, right? All right, let's do this.
Okay, I'm just gonna copy all this. I think these are
Mhm.
all the same.
Pretty much, yeah. I was almost inclined to kind of make one file and then nested files underneath it. We're doing that, so we're initializing once and running everywhere. And then I changed my mind. I thought to myself, let's just keep it really separate and clean like that. If we have to do it, we'll do it. But now, and that, by the way, that also another thing, see those hard-coded GPT 3.5 Turbo. There's no guarantee these are going to be there tomorrow. So now that we have list all AI models, we can truly dynamically, test, the API and make sure that it's actually working the way we expect it to. So I told you about unit tests, acceptance tests, and integration tests. Is there any other types of tests, Elbic, that you can think of?
I know there's a
Regression
whole
test.
yeah, I know there's a whole testing job, manual test, automatic tests, but I'm not sure this is in the scope of what we are doing here.
There's functional tests, there's system tests,
Yeah.
there is regression, there's smoke tests. Like I would argue that our I would argue very much so that our integration test is sort of smoke test because you're not really testing scenarios or anything. You're just saying, is everything working? Are we functional, right? One other feature that I want to also kind of implement here that it's not offered by the chat, OpenAI is basically a service that gives you the status of all the endpoints. Okay, so you have a status service and a status broker. And what this service does is that basically goes and says, is OpenAI RESTful API active? Is it alive? Before you start making any execution. I can expect software engineers who really care about what they're doing, they will not need to call that endpoint to make sure that their integration, their external resources are in good shape before they start making calls to it, right? That's something I'm planning to kind of normalize across all our libraries, especially when you're integrating with an external resource, which is rare. This could be one of the very few libraries that is actually working with an external API that we don't own, right? Go ahead, Kay. What do you have to say?
All right. So here I don't have parameters and all that. So
Hmm. Oh,
this
uh,
so I just assert this is like
not
have
null.
something in there.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we care about. But in order for that to work, remove that. Do Control KE for me. Look how simple the retrieve all models is because you're not building anything. You're just calling. So take away that skip piece, and we're just gonna run this once on your computer to make sure things are working, and then we're gonna go to it in a second. Mhm. There you go. And then go into your. Is your solution building okay, or what's going on?
Probably not.
Okay, system accessibility.
Hang on. Okay. What happened
Something.
there?
This is something else, I think.
Did someone change something? Elbic, everything builds on your side. It must, right?
Yeah,
This could be a red herring cake. Can you open up the error list?
yeah,
Go
rebuild system.
go all the way to the bottom. So all
All
of
the way
this
to
is.
the bottom or
Oh
the
wow, you have
bottom of
21.
the air.
Yeah, does not contain definition of OpenAI broker mock. Did someone change something without me knowing? They wouldn't be able to because we have tests in place. Uh, and I also don't know like how much of these are real. Go back to
Yeah.
your all models API tests.
Yeah, the build is failing on the GitHub too.
Oh,
But it's
really?
yeah, but it's building on my side.
What the hell changed? Uh, okay, give me this. Give me this what you have with a WIP.
Okay.
Well, that's fun.
Probably after merge some
I did
stuff
merge a
like
couple of things while just confirming with people that they built and without waiting for the pipeline because I can override that. But let's just see what's happening. All right, Kay, is it out? You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
should.
so I have main. I'm gonna pull latest from main real quick. It's probably something with the clients. Let's just see. Okay, here you go. And then I'm gonna run the world here. Well, up until yesterday. Okay, let's see. Accessibility. Yeah, AI model service. So what happened here? Uh, AI models client. Well, that client, why is this client public though? Right? This should be internal, right, Elbic?
yeah.
So that should be internal, right? And because that's what I was saying, right? The interface is public. The concrete is not. We don't want people to have access to that. Hey Lou, can you go back to your screen real quick and just flip line 15 on file AI models client from public to internal?
Yeah.
They fix the problem?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
run that guy. It's super red herring. That Visual Studio is giving you like it's telling you the whole world is falling apart. but it really isn't.
Okay, build successful.
And then I need at some point in time to know what the heck these warnings are because we don't build things that have warnings in it. We either suppress it or we fix it. We didn't let it lingering. Do you still have errors?
Yeah.
Cannot implicitly convert.
This one, someone definitely changed something in here, I think.
Daytime offset from Unix time seconds? I didn't create that. That's not our code. Do a blame on this. Oh, that's the image generation, right?
Yeah.
That's the okay, but this is building on my side, Kay. So you do have latest from main, right?
Yeah, I think I pulled. Oh,
Yeah, you do have latest from
I
main.
can
Can you?
fetch and merge from master again, but I don't know if that.
Yeah, it's totally cool. Let me take your branch and run it and see what happened. There's some things in the image generation that is not right. If my machine restarts, that's Windows doing it to me without my permission. All right, I'll take your branch. Hang on. Let's do this. So I'm gonna revert this guy here, and then I'm gonna go into fetching the world, and then I'm gonna go into remotes and who Kailu.
No, just Kailu.
Kailu, okay.
Yeah.
Kailu, I think that's the first branch you create on this project.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, and you
This
already
guy's
pushed.
still no. I didn't push that change.
That's okay. That's okay. Don't push it. I'll fix it. And then let me see if I can build on my side. So if I go and do this, do I have the same problem? No, Kailu, there's something is wrong with your instance. Just close Visual Studio and turn it back on.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'll just take a look at the tests, right? The extra test that you created. I'll try to run it. Cool?
Yeah.
So I wanted you to see how you set up these environment variables and all that, but that's okay. You know, we're gonna do it. We're gonna have many times to do that again and again and again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up the API key and the org ID. I don't know if they're still set up, honestly. So I'm just gonna generate a new one because I renew my API keys a lot. Do you guys remember how we did this? What was it? Sit X,
Yeah.
right? And we basically said API key, right? And then we basically put the key here,
Yeah.
right? And then we basically set X org ID, right? And I basically went up in here and I said, here is my org ID, right? So here is manage account, settings, org ID right there, and done. Good. Now let's go ahead and run this test and see. I'm gonna put a breakpoint in here. I'm gonna do debug and let's see. Okay, what happened? Oh, I need to close and open Visual Studio. Remember that little trip that we had to do together? That was fun. Brian has some ideas around that, but I don't want it to have business logic in it, and I want it to be simpler than that. A little bit simpler than that. Okay, let's run this. Now it should be able to pick this up. So, debug. Here we go. Nothing. Or it did pass, but why did it pass and it didn't stop at the... Let's see. Let's try this again. Oh, do I need to rebuild or something? Because it doesn't seem to be catching the symbol that I put in place. Let's try this. One of the cool things about pair programming is that you if it's something specific to your machine that's causing issues, you don't have to spin around in circles for hours, you know, trying to figure out what's going on, and then at the end you realize, oh no, it was just me. The reason why this wasn't letting me is that I was on release mode, just for the people to know. If you're on release mode, you'll never be able to debug your code. There's some settings that you can do about it though, but that's why this was stuck. It wasn't stopping where it's supposed to be. Kailu, when you restarted your Visual Studio, is it still failing things on your side?
Let's see.
All right, let's go. There we go. Yeah, and then F10. Here you go. And then if I look at the response, I'm going to put it on the watch here because StreamYard doesn't give you. And here's all the models we have. Beautiful. Babbage, OpenAI, owned by the parent, no parent, and then under permissions. Here's one permission, false, false, true. It seems to be mapping beautifully well. Wonderful work. Wonderful, wonderful work. Right? Of course, with the processing service that we're going to build on top of this is going to give us the most common scenarios. Like if you want to really dig deep into advanced mode, that's fine. But if you want to do just the most common scenarios, like I just want to do chat, I don't want to do, I want to go home. You know, I don't want to do anything else. That should do the trick for you. So I'm going to put this on skip and merge that. So skip. Thank you. Thanks, Kailu. That works. So let's take the
Sure.
sign here. So how's it going on your side when you restarted? Did it work?
It works, except that my test failed. I think it's because of the new key you
Because
generated.
of the keys. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. All right. So here's a pass like this. And these guys don't really fail. Like integration tests, you don't really commit a failure there. Okay, let me open a pull request. Parker, be ready because it's gonna be your turn. I think we lost Parker. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's open a pull request here. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. Closes, and then this is integrations, and this is get all AI model. So create pull request. Ooh, that's a bad name. And then integrations. List all AI models. That should take care of it. Since I ran it locally, I know things are working, so I'm just gonna let that in. Since it's also a skipped test, so we will never actually know. Okay, so that's one. And then the in the issues area, if I go into the milestones, retrieve AI model, we have two open and one open, and we're gonna close both of these today. That's our milestones here. The one that's left here today is the acceptance test. I guess he figured out how to run away from it, huh? I'll do the acceptance test. Fine, Parker, we'll do it. All right, let's do this. Let's sync this up.
Yeah, I don't know if the discussion about the exceptions documentation has been closed or not. What are we in this
No,
regard?
don't document exceptions.
Mhm.
You know, we just gonna need to kind of put in the we're gonna need to put in comments in the exceptions model because the client, the person that's consuming this, doesn't have access to your internals
Yeah.
unless they go through the source code, right? And remember, I said you can put comments in your code if and only if the person
Mhm.
that's consuming it doesn't have access to the internals of that code. You know, yeah, sure, go ahead. But when I see people go ahead and do things like I see like they just don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because they saw everyone else is doing it, right? Like you know, when I see someone goes in a method like this and does this for me, prompt completions. That's an absolutely useful statement that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. You know, your code's supposed to be self-explanatory. Unless you don't have access to the code, then you need comments to tell people what it's doing,
Mhm.
right? In fact, I would even argue if it's open source and you know persons that grown up, go ahead and look at the code. But you know, while you're in the midst of it and you're pulling the library and you're trying to do things together, it might become problematic.
Yeah.
Okay, Hassan Habib, exit. What are you trying to say? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was I was just trying to say this. Let's put this XML documentation on top of our clients, and whenever they say use dot this method, and in the description of that method, it pops up that this method throws this and this type of exceptions.
Hmm.
An option, just like Swagger documentation, it will just will be self-documented.
Okay, fair. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do this. So I want a AI model client test, AI models client test.cs, and this guy is, so here's my public partial, right? Private read only I OpenAI client. That's my OpenAI client. For that, private read only mock wire mock server, right? So that's my wire mock server right here. And what else do I need? Is that pretty much it? Do we need anything else? I think so. Wire mock server equal wire mock server dot create or start server like this. And then I want to go and say I need my API configurations. That's wire mock server with the API key. I need a random API key, right? So private, here it is, private read-only string API key, right? What else do we need? Organization ID. So we need that guy as well. Organization ID, right? Now we need a method that generates random data for us. A string, static string, create random string. There you go. And then new mnemonic string. Pull that from dynamics.get value. There you go. Right? And then I want to go and initialize all of these good things, right? So I would even argue like put these keys even before the server, and then I'll go here and say this dot API key create random string, this dot organization ID create random string. There you go. And this is OpenAI configurations. I think I think it was Gregory who changed this or someone. Thank you, whoever you are. Appreciate it. Okay, so there's that, and then we need to basically you know hit the API endpoint, set up the API endpoint, and basically verify that the value that we're getting back matches whatever we want from the server, right? So how did we do that in here for the response? All I have to do is just pick up the response that we created on the service itself. So if you go on to the services and then look at AI models, AI model service, all I want really is just this guy right here. So this will give me an AI model, right? And Elbic, put a code drop in there. This mapping is not supposed to be happening in this method itself, because that's more details than we need for this in here, right? So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just pick up this mapping in here, and then I'm just gonna go here and create a random external AI model result. Let's do that. Let's go back to the acceptance test in here. And where's my acceptance? Yeah, there it is. So here's this guy. I'm just gonna go and say private static filler. Let me zoom in just for the people on their phones. And then external AI model result. Right, so this is filler. Here's static, like this. Here's my filler right here. Should find that model. Good. Create external AI model result filler. And then here is new filler, external AI model filler. That's what I want. I hope it plays well, though. I don't know if it has some values in it that it's going to be making it a little trippy, but hopefully not. External AI models results. Okay, cool. And then I want to generate one. So I'm just going to go here and say private static external AI model result. Create random external AI model models result. There you go. So create external model filler dot create. Here we go. Okay, so this is all good. Now I need another file Well, I need the mapper, right? So I need private static AI models. So that's an AI enumerable of AI models, right? And this here will say convert to AI models. And this guy will take that external AI model result like this, and I'm gonna slap that in there. If you do Windows V on your computer, it will pull in things that you copied from before. There are things that you might have copied from before. This will take care of it for you. Okay, and then there's this logic in here, which we don't care to repeat because this is not unit test. This is a the acceptance test, so we don't really care about that. The one thing that we're gonna care about is actually pulling in the datetime offset dot what was the thing uh Elbic from
Was it
Unix,
convert? Oh, I don't know.
huh? From Unix milliseconds?
The logic we wrote in the broker, right?
Yeah,
From
relate.
Unix time seconds.
There it is. Good. So we got all of this down here, and then what is this guy saying? It's saying non-generic IEnumerable cannot be used to type arguments. What? What are you talking about? Let's see
You've got the
here.
wrong reference. You've got the reference for just IEnumerable instead of the IEnumerable with the generic.
Ah, thanks, Brian. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and create another file that is the nested file underneath this, and this file is going to basically have the actual test in there. So this here will be you called it retrieve all, right? Retrieve all, right? Okay, let's write a test. So there's our acceptance test. Take all that garbage out. And here is too much. Here we go. All of this, don't need it. And then let's do this. Here is a fact. Public async task should retrieve all AI models. Async, like this. Given, when, then. Okay, and we need to create, so this is external AI model result. So random external AI model result. Create random external AI model result. And then the same thing, external AI model result, which is retrieved AI model result, which will basically be the random. And then we want to convert that. So we want to go and say IEnumerable of AI model, convert, yeah, there you go. Great. And then let's set up that server, right? So this dot wire mock server, and then dot request create client. It's not the best it's not the best fluent AI Steph, but we'll get to it. Yeah, given, that's right. Let's take that guy here. I mean, I know he tried to simplify it. It's just weird. There it is. So instead of this being a post, we want this to be a get instead. So there is no body there. There is no body for this, right? And this is all correct. And this should close up in here. And this should respond with the external retrieved external AI model as JSON. Okay, now the question is here, where did we define that this is a post or a get? I guess for these guys, for these previous tests, we basically went, okay, it has a path with body, so it assumed that it has a body, then it's a post. We probably need to fix, because we need to say post in here, using post like this. So this is missing. Elbic code drop, please. Okay, so I need to come down here and say using get. We really have to press on that one. Because if you leave it open like this, a put will pass. Because it's set up to cover all of these. That doesn't make sense, right? And then that responds with, so this should need to go just one like this, and then responds with, and then we have these. Does that look right? Looks right to me. Okay, IEnumerable AI model, and then actual AI models equal await this dot service client dot all AI models retrieve all async, and then I want to go here and say actual AI model equivalent to blah, and then there's nothing here to clean up, but we still need that little dispose guy at the very end. So we need to pass that guy in because that's how we clean up the so dispose is the only one that can go before a filler, behind a filler. Is there anything else we needed to do? I think that's pretty much it. So this basically sets up, just for the people watching this for the first time, this is setting up a fake server that pretends that it's responding to our requests. It's pretending that it's working. Now, Elbic said, oh, don't forget, yeah, that's right. So V1 models like this, Elbic, is that the one like this? That should do the trick, right? Let's go and run this and see what happens. There we go. If it runs the first time, that would be nice. No, it did not. Let's see what happened. Object reference is not set to an instance of an object. Where are you? Object reference. Oh, so the API client is not. Hold on. Did I miss something? Did I create the configuration? All right. This dot OpenAI client equal new OpenAI client with OpenAI configurations. That should do it. This guy is a little too fat. It's way past. Let's try this again. This should do it this time. Come on, baby. Let's start talking. No, still? Why? Ah, now I'm getting an issue response not found exception. No matching mapping found. Okay. Did we, let's see here. So AI V1 AI models. If I go in my brokers, V1 AI models. Oh, it's just V1 models. So that's V1. And then bearer token and all that garbage. That's great. And I don't think we need that header, do we? That's probably why. Let's see here. I took too much. There you go. Because that header that we're passing was meant to be for the body of the request. Yeah, there you go. Cool. That works. Right. Yeah, so that wraps up this one. Let me just run a quick cleanup. Oh God, I don't know when was the last time anybody ran a full cleanup across the entire solution. This is gonna look really crazy. Let's see here. 3 files, 3 files, 3 files. Oh boy, it's starting again. You guys are not seeing it, but it went all the way and then started over. I think it's taking it one project at a time. So Elbic, the AI image generation, I can't touch the ID because this is blocking me, but the image generation, it needs a little bit of a scan because I see parameters being instantiated in the tests, while the right side is not clear and it's using var. That's a little problem, right? It's using var and it's a miss for me. Okay, so just 7 files, that's great. I expected it to be more worse than that. So that's a pass. So that kind of wraps up the entire thing. The only thing that's left for us just to release. And then we can declare it, and this would be the, this is truly an evolution for us because we were going one feature per sprint, but now people are branching off and kind of working on open issues. And I'm going to keep increasing these issues. Like I'm going to keep adding more and more of them Let's just create the pull request and close both of these in one shot. Let's do that. I wonder if you can close multiple issues with one PR. We're gonna learn about that really fast. Acceptances, retrieve all AI models. So this guy closes and then acceptance. There you go. And then, well, we don't have an issue for it. Acceptance says retrieve or get all models. There you go. Cool. Let me run this locally because it's faster than the pipeline. And then from there we can just do a release. Unfortunately, because the release is not automated, I have to do that one as well. So that should be so by far we have about 54 tests. 54 tests. It's not too bad. Okay, so that merges in. Okay, moment of truth. I think we're doing great on time. It's not 3 hours this time. All right, let's do this. So I'm gonna go here and release version 3, but version 3 is gonna have two things, you know, in it, which is basically both the image generation and the listing all models. And listing all models is very, very important. I'm really glad that we got that one. That one was supposed to be the first one we do, actually. And it would have been a great introduction because, you know, I wanted people to kind of see a quick and easy thing. Retrieval is definitely simpler, although the mapping there was a little tricky. So I'm glad we figured that one out as well. Okay, so I have this under control here. Now I'm just gonna create a new branch. The users Hassan Habib slash releases slash version 003. Okay, let's switch over to release mode. Let's rebuild all of this in release mode. You guys know the drill. And I'm gonna go on the properties of this project. I'm gonna go on to the package, and this is gonna be 0.3 like this, and this is gonna also be so description, that's okay. And then I know there's a couple of places where we have, yeah, 0.3, 3, anywhere else? I think that's pretty much it. Okay, good. And then what's the release notes? This beta release includes supporting listing all models and generating images APIs. Okay, that's fair. And then let me close this. Let me rebuild. Let's go find in the build directory in the bin folder. Let's go find the files for it. So here's bin, releases. Here's 03 right here. Okay. Let's go to NuGet, nuget.org, and release this little library. Brian, be on standby because we're going to test this. You ready? You could literally just copy the integration test, you know.
In a console app you want?
Yeah. Look, his internet is working very well now.
I don't know. I think somebody's had a crash or something downtown.
Uh-huh. All right. Let's see here. Hassan Habib live.com. And I think I have a two-factor off. So I need to log this one in. Come on. Approve. There we go. Okay, let's go to upload, browse, paste, 3. He jumps, he dunks. Okay, so here's the license, .NET 7 standardized. This beta release and supporting listing all models and generating images API. And Brian, you'll be testing both, actually. You'll be testing listing models and generating an image. You know, because you know, the release that went out, the piece of the release that went out he can't test it because we didn't release a NuGet package, right?
Mhm.
But he has integration tests in place, so it technically should do the trick. He did take a screenshots and everything. I'm really grateful for that. Oh, look, the image now is working. That's Mabruk right there. Nice. My cleanest library on the internet. I appreciate the community on this. I think also, Elbic, this example needs to change because it doesn't say API configurations anymore. It says OpenAI configuration. Okay, so just heads up, something for you to kind of take a note of. Make sure you label it as well. By the way, guys, like, okay, I'll leave this on the side, but our library went from page 3 to page 2, and now it's almost the upper half of page 2. Like, if you go and look up at OpenAI, like this. So the first page is not there, right? And that's okay. We just released it. If you look at the second page, you'll see us listed over the top half, at the top half. Even though there are libraries beneath us that are 1,700, 840, it's about the activity and how much, what's the recent downloads and how much of that is out there. So the library's out there, but it's still 0.2. We're gonna wait for this one to kind of index and it looks pretty, and then we'll let Parker kind of test it. How you doing today, Parker? All good?
Yeah, just a bit stressed with power supply. It just sort of winds you up a bit.
It's the cat. You pissed off the cat. She went. Is it a he or a she? What's
It's a he.
okay? Yeah, don't mess with male cats. They'll attack you. They're very opinionated. They'll attack you. I love cats though. The cats are amazing. Did you know that cats domesticated themselves? Like humans didn't tame them. They decided to be part
They
of
tamed.
the
They tamed us.
yeah, they tamed up. Okay, here's another crazy thing about cats. I'm pretty sure people didn't expect like I'm here to watch this driven development, not talk about cats, but I'll talk about cats. Did you know that cats they have special noises just for humans? Like they don't use these noises that they make to us with themselves, with each other. It's like they develop their own language just to communicate with us. That's pretty wild. The other crazy thing about cats is that they actually think we are cats. Unlike dogs, dogs know that we are different beings. Cats say, "Oh, this big hairless cat that doesn't know how to hunt is now a part of my tribe." Somehow it gets food. Does your is it an outdoor cat, Brian? Does he go out?
Yeah, it's a cat dog. It doesn't. It's not sure if it's a cat or a dog. It doesn't care about the rain.
Does he bring you dead mice and dead
No,
things
no, no.
to
He's not that bad, but he'll come in when it's pouring rain. He'll go out walking in the rain like a dog would. Come inside.
Mine does that. Mine goes and says, "Oh, you poor, helpless, big, hairless cat. Let me go get you bunnies and mice and birds." And I'm like, "I don't need that. I appreciate the gift, but that's not what we I mean, you gave me tuna yesterday. I feel that I need to give you something. Here is a mouse. Let's eat it together." No,
And
cats are
this thing will come in when it's soaking wet and jump up on your lap and expect a cuddle and
man, man, what's that all about? I mean, if you think about it, Elbic, the exceptions, because they're standardized, do we keep them in there?
If we decide to do that XML documentation on top of the methods, we don't need this table here.
That's my plan. Every class that has the accessor public should have some documentation to it because the person won't have access or immediate access to the code. Although that I think, if I'm not mistaken, if your library is open source, Visual Studio now will allow you to go into the library code. I think.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does.
that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Okay, Parker, take it home.
Yeah, I'll put an example as a PR today. So
For listing and generating.
no, for documenting the exceptions for public methods.
Cool.
So we have the idea.
So public methods will tell you here's the exceptions I'm going to be throwing. Please, absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I think I created a Blazor project.
Whatever you did, just I mean, Brian is number 4 most contributing member on Stack Overflow for
5,
Blazor.
but not. I'm number 5. Don't offend someone.
So automatically his brain goes straight. It's just console
Yeah.
app. Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it. Let's do it, Parker. Let's go. Now, some people might be asking, didn't you just run an integration test? Why would you do that? Well, we need to pull the library and test it. And that we may or may not be able to automate because we might actually be able to automate that, but we need something that picks up the new version and updates the code. We'll create an examples project, so people can pull it down and kind of run it. This will be one of the most documented libraries in the history of GitHub. It'll be tested to death. All right, here we go. Elbic, this person always, says good morning and saying hi to you. Say something to him or her. I don't know. Say something to the person,
Yeah, hi, brother. So we did keep in touch with him every now and then.
Okay.
What did we call it? We gave it a new name, didn't we?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's called OpenAI configuration.
Yeah.
You could just copy the integration test, Brian, if you want. Just trying to make it easier for you.
Yep. No dramas.
Yeah, interesting thing about this person is that he was making doors and windows in his village, region, and he decided, okay, I'm gonna jump into the IT bandwagon and start learning with me.
That's actually great. I like people that kind of take control over their lives and decide to go one direction, as long as they're passionate about it,
Yeah.
As long as if you're doing software engineering just for money, you're gonna fail so bad you wouldn't even know what hit you. But if you're doing it with love and passion to the profession itself, to the craft, oh yeah, you're gonna go far. You're gonna far, 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 far. I guess one of the things that AI can do is that it's gonna expose very easily people who are just doing it for a quick buck versus those who are actually trying to do, something creative with it. Okay, Brian, let's go. Let's do it. Okay.
Do you want me to just run that one, or do you want
Do,
to
do,
sit the other?
do you wanna await that one and make your method async task? Uh-huh. Okay, let's do it. I don't know if you have your you have to switch void to task.
Of course.
Elvic, you're gonna be announcing the new version this time. Why should I have all the fun, right? Let's go.
That's great.
Just make sure you mention everybody that contributed. Everybody. Give them their due diligence of. Ooh, look at that. And what is that dependency error? Scroll down on the right a little bit, Brian. It says you have 2 inner exceptions. It says that you're unauthorized.
I didn't set up any variables.
Yeah. Great exception. It's almost like people put time and effort into that.
So you guys
I
were
love
doing
it.
that through the console. I was actually setting up secrets. You know me.
Cool. Do it.
So
It was package manager console, right?
yep.
Let's do it. Brian, do you have keys?
No. Do you want to pass me some? Do you want me
Here's
to?
some keys.
You're gonna throw them away after them.
Yeah, I always do. Yeah, and nothing that I hate people not using stuff. I just, we're using it for our work and experimentation, so I hate someone to run us dry on that,
Yeah. What do we call this one? API key, wasn't it?
API key, yeah. Double quotes.
And we just put that in quotes. Yeah, like that.
Cool. Yeah, let's run it. Let's go.
Is that all we have to set? To
Yeah, I
remember,
don't think
do we have to
I don't think you have to do the organization. I think this is enough. But what I know that you really need to do is to restart your Visual Studio. You got burned by that a couple of times. You still need to restart Visual Studio.
Oh, yeah. Who told you that?
Brian is not with us today. He's
Yeah. I think I was the one telling you to restart Visual Studio when you were doing.
he's with the cat. Brian is with the cats. Third time is a charm. Tell him one more time, Elvic. Let's go. Okay. Let's do it.
This is why I like my key solution better than you. This
Let's do it. I don't mind the key solution as long as it fits in the pipeline as much as it fits without having, to put in conditionals or anything. It needs to be simple, like did simple. Okay, does that work?
woohoo!
What? Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we forgot the breakpoint on that side.
Just put a console and print something in there. Oh, look at that.
Pens.
So what's it say? Scroll down. Let's see what there is. Invalid request error. Is it wants the organization ID?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Why the org ID is garbage ID? Okay, take that ID then. Okay, sounds good. Let's do that. So settings, here's an org ID. Just sent it over to you. Go for it.
yeah. So if you look here, it says no such organization found. He was using his last credentials.
Mm-hmm. You'll force people to put in their org ID then. There we go.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong there, guys?
There's no equal. There's no equal.
Ah.
All right, let's do it.
I gotta restart, don't I?
You should, if you want it to work. If you don't want it to work, that's fine too. All right, let's do it. It took a second there, and it's a little bit concerning. Like before it threw this organization ID exception. Oh, part of the test also that I forgot to talk about is performance tests, right? So we would use something like there is a special library in .NET. It's called .NET. I can't remember. It basically gives you performance tests, and it tells you if.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. So that works. Thank you, Brian. That's it. Call it. Okay, so this wraps up this sprint. Brian, if you don't mind, also test the image, but see what the request looks like and all that, and play around with it and see. And while Brian is doing that, the one thing that I'm gonna add in more features. We still have a couple of milestones that we need to finish up. Let me create that pull request as well while Brian is doing his test. I'm gonna go back here, Window, Visual Studio. Here is the releases, and that will be, release v0.3 for image generation and listing models, and then I can close. Let's see if I can close two closes. Oh, it's not completing for me. Oh, sucker. Okay, let's do that. Here's push. Let's go. Okay, and let's create a pull request. Here is your pull request here. Okay, let's do this. Closes. Releases. So that's V2. No, not V2. Releases. Generate image. Can I do a comma or do I just put another one in here and say releases list or get all AI models? Right? Did I do that right? List releases get, publish get all AI models package. Right? There you go. So creating that should take care of this. Looking at the code here, just making sure. Yep, we updated some stuff. Great. And I'm just gonna merge that in. I don't know if it's gonna close two issues at the same time, but this is a learning moment for me. Does it actually work? There you go. Milestones. Ah, didn't. See? That's dumb. Okay, fine. Let's close it. This is closed. Huh?
Anyone remember the valid formats?
It's in the integration test. Just use the integration test. It's actually my sneaky way of verifying that it's doing the right thing. What was the pull request that I created?
264.
264, thank you.
It mentions in the here. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
look.
right. 264. Where is it? Is it this guy?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's nice. All right, close this. So there you go. That's a full sprint with 2 milestones. Super fun, super amazing. So these are closed. Right, so now the transcription of the audio file, which I think Diogo already created a, let's see, RESTful sense in here. I think he already created a pull request for it or something, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it? Oh, it was Catalan. Catalan, he created that. And Brian Parker, can you please review this item? And we'll take a look at it. So he basically did post content async that returns HTTP response message. We're not supposed to return HTTP response message because if you do that, that basically means, well, it's still gonna throw an exception if the response message has issues in it. I'm assuming he's doing this to get the file transcription back from this. Closes this issue. Mixed overloads RESTful API allow for scenarios where multi-part form data payload can be sent to server and still have the response validation in place. In some scenarios, it is useful to return HTTP response message directly and allow the client to deserialize the response in other scenarios. So why? So I don't know if he's still on the call with us. I know he was up here earlier, but what are you gonna deserialize this to? Let's see here. What are you going to serialize the response to other than? Is it because there is no model to match and he wants to get a byte array to other than what's already in place? I think he's up to something. I think this is okay what he did. I just wanna just poke with a question and see what he comes up with. Okay, Parker, is it running?
It's running and it's completed, and we've got a valid result.
So if you hit that endpoint, it'll give you an actual message or a picture or something?
Yeah, I'm just trying to drag it over, and the mouse is. There we go.
Oh, they already started hosting their stuff on Azure. Interesting. Interesting. It's a blob storage in Azure. That's what this is. Okay. So what did you post in the image generation? Close that. A cute baby sea otter. Okay. Type in there an orange cat fighting a man in Australia. I mean, that's what's happening, right? I mean, these real life scenarios. I don't know what to tell you. Kylo, do you see how cool this library is? You can generate images from the console. It's pretty cool, right?
It
Yeah.
generates real life images. It's not like
Realistic,
Midjourney or
yeah.
something. Yeah,
It's really cool. Yeah, here you go.
that's insane.
I can only imagine how big that blob storage is that they're publishing the images at. It's insane. Okay, Parker. I mean that calls it. Uh, again, I appreciate everyone that's been with us in this journey for this. This is, I think, the third sprint, and this is I think this is the 17th or 18th session, that we record. So how fast these go, it's crazy. It's felt like it was just yesterday when I told Brian, hey, you want to do a quick live stream and build a .NET library for OpenAI, and look how far we've come. So now we have we have the post completion, post chat completion. We have list all models. We have an image generation, right? And there is the audio file down the road. And I think there's also, let's see here, Brian, what's left for us? The fine tuning. That's that. I'm just trying to see how far are we in terms of this playground. If you look into the API references, so fine tuning, moderation, and I think someone told me moderation is already dead. Like they already shut it down, right? I think Odenhall said that to me. So he said, don't waste your time on this. It's already dead. Fine tunes, files. What's files? List files, upload files. Yeah, this one is going to be very straightforward, but it's going to be a lot of work because it's CRUD operations, right? So we're going to have the files that you upload for fine tuning. You'll be able to retrieve back with the file ID. All right. So this is going to take a little bit of work. And I'm going to just start giving people opportunities to kind of, I mean, Ricky is already creating pull requests like this here, this data external edit model. He already went and just created the edit model for us. So people are going to start kind of pushing that kind of code upwards from there. I think,
I
yeah,
asked
go
him to
ahead.
upgrade that to a broker.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
Add copyrights here. Yeah, and also for the community, feel free to hop into some of these pull requests and just leave some comments. Get yourself kind of familiarized and comfortable with, reviewing code and whatnot. Elbic, I'll wait on your announcement. You take it there. You do have a Twitter account and all that, right?
Yes.
Go to town, son. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. Take care. Take care. See you next
Bye.
sprint. Take care.